let's get this done now. For all the people in YouTube world that are gonna sit here and complain that a car rides rough, don't buy a sports car. Dumbass.
Tell me how you really feel.
There's nothing worse, nothing, than when I hear a guy go, oh, I love that car. Or they're doing a review. That is the best car ever, but it rides so rough. No shit.
I didn't say that. Hey guys, today I am here with my friend Jason and his M3 CS, and we're going to talk about what it's like to own an M3 CS. And what's especially interesting is the fact that this guy has gone from a regular F80 M3 to the CS, so you can talk through the differences and compare them. I met you, how many years ago? Man, it's been like 4 or 5 years at this point, probably. Yeah. My parents moved to the same neighborhood. Our families live next to each other, and you had a B8.5 S4 when I moved here, right?
Right.
I think so. All right, so now M3 CS. What made you go? Let's just jump right into it. F80 to the CS. Why did you stick with the F80 platform?
So I've always been a BMW guy.
Okay.
Constantly. I've always just had a dream car of having an M3.
Okay.
And I think the first time I ever saw one, I watched Lethal Weapon, and it was like an M6, and they just beat the living crap out of it when I was a little kid. And fell in love with it. And I've always said, you know, when I get older, I'll have an M3. So I had an opportunity when I was, about almost 4 years ago now. After I had the S4, I turned around and traded that in and picked up a brand new 2016 F80. And it was executive edition, mineral white. Love the car, just absolutely stunning looking. And after a while, I started shopping. I got bored with it, and I'm like, gosh, I want something a little bit faster, a little bit more exciting, a little bit flashier. And I went to a dealership, and I found this the CS. And BMW basically, you know, talked me into it. All the reps, everybody's like, oh, you got to have it, you got to have it.
Yeah.
It was really expensive, and for an M3,
110 grand, dude.
not real excited to swing 100 grand at this car. So. Luckily, they were not moving the car at all.
Oh, really?
It was sitting in the dealership. I kept keeping an eye on it, and then I was down in Cleveland, and I had an opportunity to basically pick it up, and he made me a sweetheart deal, and it was really hard to say no. And not only that, I ended up selling my car to another guy that was at the dealer. So it wasn't a trade. It was basically an outright sell.
Okay.
And I turned around and walked away with this.
Okay.
So it was a great opportunity.
Yeah. M3 CS. And here's the best part. You use this, you track it.
I do.
Which tracks have you gone to with this one?
So I've been at Grattan, and I've been at
Mid-Ohio?
Mid-Ohio. I had a short stint on. I haven't
Okay.
actually done the official Mid-Ohio run.
Okay.
I got, you know, mid-range speed.
Yeah.
I wasn't certified to run Mid-Ohio just yet.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another track. It's called Nelson's Ledges, which is in just the east side of Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay. How was it on the track?
It's phenomenal. It's a great car for a four-door.
Yeah.
This thing keeps up with the best of the cars. I mean, I've had GT3s in front of me, I've had Caymans in front of me, and I stick on their bumper like glue. Now, granted, I'm not the best driver in the world. I'm still learning, but it's an awesome car for what it is. Very well balanced.
Okay, compared to the regular one, do you feel all that difference when you're tracking and driving every day? Is it worth that massive premium over the regular M3?
I wouldn't necessarily go that much in the sense of, you know, the $40,000 ticket. I think you see on top of it. I wouldn't say that. Overall, the biggest notice that I got when I changed cars, I basically, as soon as I started driving, I could just tell the turn-in is so much more responsive on this car.
Okay.
And basically the horsepower is way better than the F80.
So it's like 454 versus 426, I think. So it's not a massive delta.
Yeah, I mean,
I think these are horrendously underrated, dude.
Yeah, they are underrated. I mean, this car is phenomenal on a racetrack.
Yeah.
You know, to live with it on the road in everyday life is very practical. I mean, I throw the family in here. We have a great time going to get ice cream or whatever. It's a great practical car, but you could also just pick it up and throw it on a racetrack, and that's pretty hard to find in today's world.
Fair. But the biggest issue here, though, I don't know if you know where I'm gonna go. Your kids said first my R8 was cooler.
Oh gosh.
And then today they said my Shelby was cooler.
Yes.
They said, Dad, don't get another BMW, get a Mustang like me.
Right. So yeah, that's the $1 million question. What are we gonna do?
What's next?
What's next? So
we're both afflicted with the same issue of not being able to keep car ADHD.
Right, exactly. And I'm very meticulous about my vehicles. I don't like to have scratches or defects in them. The one thing, I love this San Marino blue, but it shows everything, and it's just a stunning color. I get more compliments than
amazing,
any other car I've ever owned. But I am the type of guy that always goes white or silver, so I don't have any flaws, or I can't see any dirt on it, and it's hard to live with that sometimes.
What's your favorite part of the car?
It's got to be the looks.
Okay.
I mean, this car is just phenomenal when it goes down the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it just screams angry.
Yep.
The hips across the rear wheels
Yeah.
is just the quintessential M3 kind of standard. Anytime you have that broad presence, it makes such a difference in a vehicle to me. I just think it looks really, really mean. One thing that I absolutely love is I've seen some guys actually take these cars and slightly lower them, about an inch, and they look so aggressive. But living in Michigan, I want to make sure that
our roads are way too crappy for that.
I don't want to drop this thing down to the ground. And surprisingly enough, it handles fantastic without dropping it at all. I could just imagine what those guys' cars are like.
Oh God, yeah. Is there anything you don't like about it?
Gosh, that's a really
It's always the fun question I ask people
Yeah.
when we do these videos.
I mean, practically, no. I mean, there really isn't anything wrong with it. It's the interior's nice. It's well trimmed. The leather. It's a great car. It's got a great sound system. There's certain elements that I really like to check the box to be happy. I can't really think of too much that really makes me unhappy with this car.
No reliability issues either?
No.
Well, it's been 2.5 years now?
Yeah, 2.5 years.
You're only 10,000 miles.
Yep, I've had 2 maintenance programs done on it. It obviously doesn't drive in the winter.
Yeah.
Just standard oil changes. My biggest fear of long-term ownership, if I was to keep this car, would be the carbon ceramic brakes. Obviously, tracking it. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard rumor that those can run up to $25K to replace all the way, every single one of them. I don't know if I'm really willing to dump, Miata money over a set of brakes right now.
No. At that point, you just put steels back on and say sorry.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's horrible.
But when it comes to tracking this car and having fun with it, the brakes are everything. I mean, you can basically stop on a dime.
Yeah. Here's what I don't get, though. They went to all these weight-saving things with a crazy carbon hood and all that stuff, and you don't have a center console.
Right.
You have single-zone climate control, but the seats are heated.
Yes, and
it has a power rear sunshade.
And the heated seats are great for where we live because you could. I love it having the windows down, listening to the exhaust of this car. This car sounds great for what it is.
Yeah.
It sounds way better than most M3s.
But we can't cold start loud.
Yeah, you can't. That's a big flaw. That drives me nuts.
Yeah,
that's probably the worst.
So they told
that's the worst thing of this car.
Okay, there you go. We found it.
There it is. That is it.
You can't open the valves for a loud cold start.
Right. I want to be able to take this car and just be really angry when I start it up and make angry.
No friendly neighbor mode necessary.
Exactly.
But yeah, I don't. It's weird to me. It's weight savings in some regards and not so in the other regards. So it's
Yeah, and one of the things that really puzzles me is that they go to the extent of losing that center console, but at the same time, on the back, they have a sunshade.
Power.
That's powered. It's got a motor, and what's the purpose of that? I don't need a sunshade in the back of the darn window. Come on. Let's think, BMW.
But you're willing to let this go. You're going to move on to something else.
There's part of me that says yes, let's...
Where are you taking me?
We're going to Milford, man.
But, okay, anyways.
Yeah, we're on a bumpy road. So
we're testing. Now, we're in comfort now. If we put the suspension in full sport, oh my God.
Why were we in comfort?
Because it hurt so much. I was like, I put it into comfort because it was uncomfortable.
Let's get this done now. For all the people in YouTube world that are going to sit here and complain that a car rides rough, don't buy a sports car. Dumbass.
Tell me how you really feel.
There's nothing worse, nothing, than when I hear a guy go, "Oh, I love that car," or they're doing a review. "That is the best car ever, but it rides so rough." No shit.
I didn't say that.
It's a damn sports car. It's supposed to ride rough. You're supposed to feel the road. If you want plush, go get a damn
But
Lexus
there
or a
are
Cadillac.
vehicles like with magnetic, like my Shelby doesn't ride that firm. It's more comfortable than this, and it'll handle just as well as this car does. You could, wow, that's all you have to say.
Feel the road, kids. Feel the road.
We've got a grumpy old man here in this M3.
No, it's not about being grumpy. It's true. Like, if you're gonna buy a sports car, you want to feel the road. You
Okay.
want to know what the car is doing.
Yeah.
You want to know where it's, the different elements of things.
Yeah.
You want to know these things, and the feel of the car is important to me. I drive this car 400 or 500 miles at a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Drive it down to Southern Ohio, back. I get out of it, I'm fine.
Okay.
And the seats are fantastic. I have to say that these are some of the best bolstered seats I've
They
ever
are very
sat in.
comfortable.
Other than you run it into like a Porsche GT4 with the carbon buckets.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is that after about 200 miles in those, your butt's asleep. And
Yep, and you need a chiropractor.
yes, and you need a chiropractor. So for the way that these seats are designed, I mean, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really,
Okay.
really happy.
So you like it enough that potential replacement could be an M2 CS.
Yes, let's start that conversation.
Oh
So,
boy.
I've been trying to get my hands on a CS.
Okay.
Unfortunately, BMW is not doing anything to help me. That's one thing that I will check against BMW's kind of like customer service and loyalty, is that I took the time and the effort to get into this car. I have proof that I've bought BMWs, and I love the M brand. And unfortunately, I'm now stuck. I get a lot of like dealer flack of, "Oh, well, we have people that are on waiting lists, and the guy that wants the car or is first in line is a guy who puts a car in a bubble and sticks it into a warehouse."
Yeah.
Listen, I'm here to own a car, to drive it, promote it, use it on the track the way it's supposed to be used.
Yep.
Come on, the heck. So
M2 CS, I still think you should go for a Cayman GT4.
yeah, I mean the Porsche is,
That's the next logical step up.
it's pushing really hard on my brain of, do we go that route? I have some issues with kind of practicality of it, but it was funny. I took a walk this morning and I saw a C7 Corvette, and I was like, well, wait a minute, it's a two-seater and it's a convertible, and it's no different than a Boxer Spider or GT4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think logically that may be the next car.
You are all over the place. Listen, we talk all the time, and it's
Yeah.
like we'll go through 3 cars per month, which is what I do too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I mean, overall, it's a great car.
Yeah.
I mean, there's part of me that just feels like I'm gonna be really sad when I let this thing go, just for all that it's done for me.
What's market value on these right now?
So unfortunately, that's one part that I also do have some heartburn with, is these things came out real strong.
Yep.
A lot of people said, this car is not $100,000 car whatsoever. I have to tell you that for what it is, it keeps up with the best of the exquisite sports cars.
Okay.
It's very well designed, very well engineered. It looks good, but at the same time, when it comes to cost, they turned around and try to put this into that F80 kind of mold with the competition, and unfortunately, they don't know how to price them because there's so little of them. I mean, there's
1,200 worldwide.
so there's 500 of these in the U.S.
Yeah.
Let's get a little fun here. So when you look at residuals and everything, I mean, I started seeing some people drop out trying to get Porsches, whatever. Unfortunately, there was a huge drop. I mean, these things went to like 80 grand. Like that.
Okay. So it did depreciate quite hard.
So it was and I mean, those were cars that had 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 miles on them.
Okay.
So it was a tremendous loss for these vehicles.
Yeah, this car has felt like a 70, 75, 70, 80 grand max car to me. I'd be willing to pay 10 to 20 over a compact for one of these. Not 40 grand. Yeah, that's how I felt.
And I would agree with you. I mean, if if you take the competition package and you put the carbon ceramics on it and everything else, you're pretty damn close to this car.
That's true. John's M3 comp was close to 90 something, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then you got to look at, all the stuff that was just done on the reviews between the M2 CS and the M2 competition. Those cars are not that far off. I mean, I think the two Nürburgring times that they ran were maybe 10 seconds,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
So, yeah.
I mean, for another, $24,000 more, I mean, is it really worth the everyday driver to have those perks?
Yeah.
Now, I like the exquisite vehicle aspect of it. That's why I'd probably pay for it, so I'll be honest.
Yep.
But in practicality, I would probably just go with a competition, just build it, have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, fair enough. Unless you're going to collect it and hope in the future they appreciate it or something, it's hard to justify it, but you got it and it's been great so far and you've loved it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's been cool to see. I'm excited to see what's coming up next. That is what it's like to own a BMW M3 CS. And this is Jason. Say something clever.
Ugh. Buy a car for what you want.
He was freaking out about being on camera earlier.
Yeah.
He goes, "You just put this GoPro in my face?"
The GoPro is pretty right there, and let me tell you, not used to having something like right in my view shed.
We'll do this more often. You'll get more comfortable. Thanks for watching, guys.